Hello, my name is Tom Lodziak. In this video, I'm going to give an overview of the key shots we use in table tennis. I'm going to give some information about what the shots are called, when we should use the shots, and I'll also give a little bit of information about how to execute the shots. If you are a beginner player, you're just getting into table tennis, or maybe you play a little bit socially, but you're not too sure of what all the shots we use in table tennis and why we use them, well, this is the perfect video for you. Right then, let's have a look at our first shot. This video is sponsored by Bar Table Tennis. If you need any table tennis equipment, bats, balls, rubbers, blades, clothing, then Bar Table Tennis is the company to go to. They deliver worldwide and they deliver quickly. Go to brybartt.co.uk to find out more. We're going to start with drives. Forehand drive, backhand drive. Elsewhere you may hear this called a counter hit, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call it a drive. Now, what is a drive? A drive is an attacking shot where you hit through the ball, adding just a little bit of top spin, sending it over to your opponent, hopefully with a little bit of speed, a little bit of spin to put them under pressure. How do we do a drive? Well, to do a drive, we play forwards and up, hitting through the ball, and that upwards motion just starts to generate a little bit of topspin. Once you've learnt how to drive the ball consistently, it is then really easy to develop a stronger topspin shot. But for a beginner, learning to drive is a little bit easier to do. It's pretty much effective straight away. You can start winning points by driving, and it allows you to progress to more advanced topspin in the future. Next on our list, we have pushes. Backhand push, forehand push. This is more of a defensive shot where we put backspin on the ball to make it difficult for our opponents to attack. We would typically use pushes when our opponent has given us a backspin serve. We can return the backspin serve with a push, forehand push, backhand push, or if we get engaged in a more defensive rally and our opponent is pushing, chopping, we can return all of their defensive backspin shots with a push. Okay, the technique here is you now need to contact underneath the ball. Your back comes from a higher position to a lower position, and you're trying to brush the ball to generate some backspin. Next, we have topspin versus backspin. Forehand topspin versus backspin. Backhand topspin versus backspin. Elsewhere, you may hear this called open-ups or loops. We're all referring to the same thing. Playing a topspin stroke against a backspin ball. So when should we use this stroke? Well, when we have backspin. So in the previous shot when we were talking about pushes, when we were putting backspin on the ball, well, one way of overcoming these shots is to play topspin against backspin. Now, at its simplest, what we're trying to do here is swing a little more vertically, lifting the ball up, contacting up the back of the ball to counter the backspin. That makes the ball go up, clear the net, and the spin brings the ball back down on the other side. Next, we have blocks. Forehand block, backhand block. Blocks are more defensive shots which we can use to return our opponent's topspin attacks. Okay, just very quickly on the technique, blocks, much shorter strokes, Soft hands, just kind of stopping the ball, using the pace of the ball to return it. So it's a much more softer shot that you're going to play. Blocking is another crucial shot, which for beginner players, if you can learn to block, then that gives you a way of returning your opponent's attacks. And not only returning the attacks, but you can return them in quite an effective way, because when you block the top spin, the ball tends to go back quite quick because the top spin attack has lots of speed and lots of energy. So you just kind of stop the ball, block it, and it goes back quite quick, and it can really put your opponent under pressure. So a flick, it's an attacking shot which we play over the table. We would use it if our opponent serves short. On the backhand side, we're looking just to start with our elbow a little bit higher, getting our bat pointed a little more down, and we're going to use our wrist to lift the ball over the net. If it's a backspin serve, we're going to flick that ball over, okay, just trying to contact up the back of the ball. On the forehand side, we're going to come in with quite an open bat angle, and we're going to kind of try to hit through the back of the ball. It's a slightly flatter contact on the forehand side. Can be a tricky shot, the forehand flick, but very effective if you can pull it off. Next, we have chops. This could be a forehand chop, it could be a backhand chop. This is a defensive shot, typically played further away from the table, which you can use to return your opponent's attacks, where that could be their drive attacks, their topspin attacks. You can use chops to send the ball back with lots of backspin, making it difficult for your opponent to attack again. Now, to do chops, it's a bigger motion, plenty of acceleration, trying to contact underneath the ball. It's this like chopping motion, okay? And if you get the contact right, where you brush the ball, then you generate lots and lots of backspin, and then that makes it very difficult for your opponent to keep their attacking shots going. Same thing on the backhand side, lots of acceleration, going from a higher position to a lower position, brushing underneath the ball. Next, we're going to look at lobs. Forehand lob, backhand lob. This is another defensive shot which you would play further away from the table. And you can use lobs to return your opponent's attacks. And unlike chops, where you're trying to keep the ball low over the net, with lobs, you're trying to send the ball really high. And this can be quite problematic for some players who find it difficult to deal with high balls. How do we do lobs? Well, lobs are, at its most basic way, you can kind of just hit underneath the ball, and that just lifts it up nice and high. You can also do lobs which have a little more top spin, where you are brushing the ball. You still send it high, but when it kicks on the other side of the table, it's going to jump towards your opponent, and that makes it even more difficult for them to deal with those shots. And finally, we're going to look at a forehand smash. Now, this is a shot we can play to return those high lobs we were just talking about. So your opponent has sent a high ball, you want to attack it, you can use a forehand smash, okay? Now, the key to a forehand smash for me is to contact the ball around about shoulder height. That's a good height. Get your body a little more sideways on, and then hit through the ball, okay? Drive through the ball. We don't really need to add that much spin to this shot, we can just hit through the back of the ball. Whew, okay, a lot of information I've given you there. I've kind of given 8 types of key shots: drives, pushes, topspin versus backspin, blocks, flicks, chops, lobs, smashes, right? There's a lot of information to digest there. But to be honest with you, if you can develop those range of shots, you've pretty much got the majority of shots you're going to need when playing table tennis and to progress to an advanced level. There are other shots which people use, but focus on these core ones first, and then you can develop other ones later. Now, if you're really interested in developing your table tennis skills, I recommend that you join my online table tennis academy. In my online academy, I have loads of exclusive coaching content. I've got in-depth courses, training drill libraries, video analysis. I've got videos on fitness, equipment, match play, technique, all kinds of wonderful content to help you improve at table tennis. So if you would like to join my online academy, then go to tomstttacademy.com.